So I like this story, but I'm not really sure it knows what story it was trying to tell. Again, this comic does super well with capturing the tone of Avatar: The Last Airbender and the series in general. Every character is just an extension of themselves, and we have the return of Azula. She's actually sane now. I mean, as sane as you can make Azula. She's always been kind of crazy, no matter if she was in her crazy book 3 phase or her book 2 phase. But we see that she actually was part of this whole dark spirits BS that was going on. They're not actually dark spirits, they are women, and they are the women from the Insane Institute with Azula, and Azula broke them out, and now they're all wreaking havoc on the Fire Nation. And the reason she's doing this apparently is because she wanted to kind of test Zuko. She wanted to bring out in him that he could be like the leader that she would have been, because she knows now, well, she says she knows now that she would never become Fire Lord, but she thinks that she can still rule the Fire Nation through Zuko, and that Zuko now has to like deal with like his inner demons of if he's really a good Fire Lord, which he's always kind of been dealing with like since this comic book series, not just Smoke and Shadow, but all the comic book series, all the graphic novels that have come out. He's been kind of dealing with that, like how is he going to rule now? How is he going to be his own man? And I don't really think he's going to fall for it. And that's what's kind of weird about this comic book, is that I don't know what it's trying to go for, and it kind of brought in this new element in the third act and tried to make that like develop with Azula, but it had all these other storylines that it kind of started off with that didn't really fully form. Like we have the whole relationship between Kylo and May, and it's like, and they break up right at the end, like out of nowhere. Why? Like why? That came out of, it was so abrupt, and like it was like one panel we had them talking about loving each other, and then like 3 pages after we have an inexplicable breakup. Like we didn't even get the scene, we just saw like, you know, them breaking up, and it's like, what's the reason? I mean, we do know that there might be some sort of, you know, feelings between Zuko and May, but I mean, that's all like just what we think. It's not like there's nothing, I know it's weird. It seems like the story would have continued, but it's not. It's that this is the end of Smoke and Shadow 3, and you would think that it would wrap up this storyline. And also, like I was saying before, it doesn't really know where to land in terms of who this is about, because the whole entire comic ends with Ursa, who has barely been in this comic at all. I mean, she has her whole confrontation with Ozai, and it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, it's a cool scene. You know, you finally got rid of the abusive husband. You got rid of, you know, that part of your life, that part of your past. But again, like, that wasn't really earned. There wasn't any setup for that. I mean, there was setup for it indeed, but there wasn't enough of a consistent storyline with Ursa for that final scene to be the final scene of the entire comic book series. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's very unbalanced in the way that they ended this series. So that would be like a big gripe I had with it. But I liked the series up until this point. I just feel like it had a very rough ending, I would say. I mean, my favorite part is Azula, even though I think she was kind of brought in a little bit too late. Like, she was revealed a little bit too late. Like, maybe she should have been revealed in book 1 of Smoke and Shadow, so that we could see more of what's going on with her, how she's sane again, what she's been up to, like all of that. But I do like that, you know, she's still Azula. Like, for me, the thing I'm most impressed about Azula about is not really her fighting skill, but it's always been about her mentality and how cunning she is. Like, she still got that. Like, she was like working Mai's dad against, like, you know, the rest of the Fire Nation and the new Fire Society and all that. Like, I love that. I love that she's so cunning and she can still work people behind closed doors and work them as their puppets and mess with their brains. You know, I like those kind of villains. And yeah, she's like probably my favorite part of this comic book, even though I felt like she probably wasn't the best addition at this point in time of the comic. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about this comic. It's a pretty straightforward comic. Everything's kind of resolved in a way. Zuko at the end is asking the Fire Nation that if he can earn their trust, because, you know, there's been all this conflict going on with the new Ozai Society and then the dark spirits and all that, and he knows that he can do better. He's just asking them to, you know, be patient with him and that he's still learning and that kind of thing. So I like that he's still progressing and learning, but, you know, Azula has planted that seed, so I like to see where that seed may go, and I would like to see Zuko triumph over that, because I like Zuko and I don't want him to be evil again or anything like that. But that's it. I am going to do a new series now. So after I do a review for an arc of a comic book series, I'm going to do a top 5, top 10 of my favorite moments from that comic book. So if you want, I should have a link somewhere around here, and you can watch that. So yes, that's it. Thank you guys. Peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.
The question still stands. Who was the better Avatar? Avatar Aang, the last airbender? Or Avatar Korra, the legend?
Do I like it? Do I not like it? Oh, I actually kind of like it.
Oh my god, I like airbending a lot. Oh god, I like it.